What's going on? My name is Marcus Whitley, and this is Good Behavior. Now, you can find me on all social media at I am Marcus Whitley and find any of my books, Both Sides of the Street, Choices and Consequences, Greatness Under Pressure, or Battling Demons, all on Amazon. In this episode, I want to share a chapter from a book that I wrote, Both Sides of the Street, Choices and Consequences. Now, this was my first book. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. And music played a big part in that. Like it really helped me when it came to the formatting. And I was obsessed with the song order when it came to putting the album together. So that really helped me out when trying to put a book together, because I wanted everything to flow from song to song like the whole album was a book and each song was another chapter. So when it came to an actual book, I applied that same method. Now, when it was done, I went to an editor to help me bring my story to life and give it that professional touch. Now I'm ready to share my story with the world. So without further ado, here's chapter 5 from my book, Both Sides of the Street, Choices and Consequences, The Life of a Stick-Up Kid. Stick-up kids are an entirely different breed. You have to be fearless and ruthless and not care about your life or anyone else's. Understand that when you pick up a gun or a knife, you hold someone's life in your hands. Not everybody can be a stick-up kid. It might look cool in video games and movies, but when it's real life and it's you, everything changes. Understand that when you pick up a gun or a knife, you hold someone's life in your hands. You don't know how they might react to the situation or how you might react under pressure. One wrong move or hesitation can cost them their life or you yours. You have to have the stomach for seeing blood, brains, or even dead bodies. If you can't handle it and you throw up, now you become a liability because now your DNA is all over the scene. In case you didn't know, liabilities get dealt with the same way rats do. You may not have used your words to tell on yourself or anybody else, but you left evidence at the scene. Leaving evidence somewhere is leaving physical proof that you were there. Now, holding a gun or a knife in your hand and pulling it out on somebody will change your life forever. The feeling of power mixed with adrenaline when you're in that moment is like no other. But if you have any kind of heart, that will be your weakness. You might think you're the hardest and you can do this until you're holding that gun to someone's head and they're screaming, pleading for their life. What if the man you intended to rob wasn't home and you ran into the house to find his wife and children there? You don't want to murder a woman and her children, but your options are disappearing. And it's all moving so fast you can't think. Now you either have to kill them or just leave. And the second you walk out that door, they'll call the cops. So not only did you not get anything out of this mission, you put yourself at risk of ending up being a murderer or being in jail. When you're running the streets as a stick-up kid, you're always looking over your shoulder, watching out for police because you've got weapons and whatever else on you that you don't want to get caught up with. The people you robbed will be looking for revenge whenever they see you. Even other stick-up kids just waiting to catch you slipping. You never know what's going to happen next. You feel like America's Most Wanted. It makes you paranoid and you can't sleep. I remember always having a gun or a knife under my pillow, struggling to fall asleep because I thought someone was going to try to break in and kill me. Even years later, I still struggle with sleep and have nightmares about things that I've done and seen. It's traumatic and not something you'll ever get over and be able to be at peace with. You have to take all of the guilt along with the feelings and emotions and push them deep down and bottle them up like they don't exist. You lose trust for everyone you know because you're always thinking someone's out to get you. That's no way to live your life. Not to mention the fact that stick-up kids don't have a long life expectancy. As As they say, if you live by the gun, you die by the gun. This means you got to think about all the people you robbed coming back to get you. There's a chance you could run into them anywhere, maybe when you least expect it. Now your life's on the line, and if your family or anybody else is with you when they catch you, you just put them in danger as well. For years, I was one of those reckless kids who didn't care about anything. Dealing with racism as a kid got me into fights, and it made me bitter. I had an F the world mentality. I wouldn't say I became a bully, but bullies were mainly who I went after. At a young age, before I had a gun or carried a knife, I was running around with a screwdriver in my backpack, taking whatever I wanted and selling whatever I didn't. Fighting all the time got me kicked out of a lot of schools. It didn't matter how good my grades were. To them, I was black and I was trouble. I caught my first case when I was 12 years old and spent my entire teenage years on probation. Always looking over my shoulder, paranoid, thinking somebody was after me or out to get me. I didn't feel safe walking around without a gun or a knife because I knew karma was always going to come back. I remember being in the car, loading up, riding to wherever we were going that night, bumping nothing but DMX or 50 Cent. You know the old 50, that Many Men or I'm Supposed to Die Tonight. That was our theme music. It got my adrenaline going and completely cleared everything that was on my mind. In those moments, I became focused. It was like the devil took over me. I stopped caring about anything other than what I was going to do. It's scary when you become that monster and lose control of yourself. You don't know what can or will happen. I've been stabbed a few times. I've been shot at. I lost money, guns, and drugs trying to run from the cops. Being stabbed hurts. Feeling that blade piercing your body and seeing blood gushing out is one of the scariest experiences you'll ever have. You don't know if you're going to die or have any kind of serious damage. What makes it worse is that you can't go to a hospital because they'll ask too many questions. I found that out when I had to go in for stitches my first time. The other times I cleaned it out the best that I could and bandaged it up, hoping that it would heal without getting infected. After going through the experience, you will know exactly how all your victims felt after being stabbed or shot. Your whole life perception changes. When I did go to the doctors, they kept asking questions about what happened or who did this to me. That's because when a violent incident happens, police have to step in and investigate. Then you have to deal with endless questions while you're fighting for your life and trying to recover. This type of lifestyle will never be easy or let you sleep peacefully. There will always be obstacles. Some are more dangerous than others. Some might cost you your life or someone you love losing theirs. The consequences caught up to me again when I had to face 6 years in prison. This is real life. This ain't no joke. Now, I hope reading this chapter was able to open up your eyes a little bit and help you out before you make any decisions about what you want to do with your life. My name is Marcus Whitley, and this is Good Behavior. Until the next episode.